This is the 5th year of Salomon's Hillside project series, and with that they've added a new shape thanks to the help from legendary team rider Louif Paradis. This is his new go-to board for bringing his unique freestyle deep into the backcountry. It's come out swinging to claim its first Whitelines 100 award, as well as being one of our all-time favourite powder sticks. Let's take a closer look at it. Now, the Hillside Project series has already garnered a pretty stellar reputation. They showcase some of the most original and inspired shapes from Salomon, and really it's the brainchild of longtime team rider and snowboard shaper Volley Nevelt to create a series of bespoke powder-focused snowboards that utilise some of the finest materials and craftsmanship in the game. Volley joined heads with Louif to create a shape that reflected the full spectrum of his riding. This is a freestyle focused powder stick, so it's best suited to riders who aren't just making turns in the backcountry, but are hunting out every pillow, windlet, cornice and cliff drop to showcase their creativity on. Compared to some of the more adventurous shapes in the series, Louif's model shares many characteristics with your more conventional all-rounders. It's got a full-size nose and tail, as it's designed for taking off and sticking your landings in switch as much as reg, as well as to feel more balanced in the air when you're spinning. Don't get me wrong, it's not a park board, and far from it in fact. This thing is purpose-built for the deepest of conditions. It's got a directional tapered outline, meaning that the nose is wider than the tail, so this increases surface area up at the front of the board and allows it to punch above the surface, while the slightly narrower and shorter tail is able to sink down and creates that planing effect through the snow. But the camber profile lends itself to a little more versatility than some of the other Hillside project boards. Where most of them offer a setback camber, Louif's model opts for Salomon's rock-out camber. So here there is a flat portion in between the inserts with positive camber sections just outside of them before going into larger rockered sections at the end. Now obviously the rockered portions of the board allow you to float more easily, but if the conditions off-piste are a little dicey, you can still cut through the ice or choppy terrain with confidence that there's enough grip under your feet to see you through the worst of it. Similarly, if you're riding back on piste or even in the park, then all of that pop and power comes into its own. It allows you to boost off side hits, rail a carve, or simply bomb around the hill without ever feeling like you're missing out on any stability. And combined with Salomon's quadrilaser side cut, it makes for a really solid carving board where you can get crazy levels of grip and precision right over the edge. If you look along the side cut, you'll see that it's broken into a series of straight lines divided between radial side cuts. Now this works by loading pressure onto larger sections of the side cut at various points throughout the turn, so you can find the most amount of grip at the start, through the center, or at the very end of the arc, but it does so in a way that still feels quite fluid and not so hooky or jilted from one phase to the next. Onto the core, and Salomon are using some pretty innovative construction methods as well as materials that help to keep this board on the greener side of the sustainability spectrum. It's got a mid-stiffness flex rating, and that's achieved through softer flexing biax fiberglass layers sandwiched between Polonia wood stringers. But what I really like is the popster construction. So here the core is milled at varying thicknesses along its length, and this helps to reinforce some of the stress areas while still providing a lighter weight and more natural flex in other areas. It means that you can create a really solid and stable board with loads of pop without the need to pump it full of additives. And lastly, a special shout out goes to the use of more natural and sustainable materials in place of more traditional, slightly toxic ones. The bamboo top sheet veneer adds some extra lightweight pop to the board, and I really like the more natural wood effect on the HPS snowboards. The sidewalls are also actually constructed with bamboo as well as cork, which runs right along the rails of the board. Now these work really well, not only because they're super durable, but they also add a layer of dampening right along the board's length. So who's this one for? Well, Louif Paradis for one, but you don't need to ride like Salomon's own Style Master to get the most out of this thing. It's one of those hidden gems in a brand's lineup that perfectly fuses freestyle performance in a more freeride focused outline. If you're wanting to take your freestyle far outside the park ropes this season and occasionally back inside them too, this might just be the perfect tool for the job. Thanks for watching this review of Salomon's HPS Louif Paradis snowboard. If you do have any questions about this one, then please do stick them down below in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. And in the meantime, if you haven't already, please also do subscribe to our channel, where this season we're going to be dropping a whole series of snowboard product reviews. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you in the next one.